Hello everyone, good morning. Hope you enjoyed learning useful tips and tricks for OET, IELTS and PT exams through over 300 videos on my YouTube channel. More than 12,000 students have achieved their desired scores after receiving my courses. If you find my videos helpful, please like and share them with your friends, colleagues, WhatsApp and Telegram groups. Also, write your comments and subscribe to my YouTube channel. To get more benefits, please click the Join near the subscription icon and follow the instructions or use the link in the description section of my videos to become a member. If you become a silver member, you will be able to access all the exclusive members only videos by paying only $5 per month. It's going to be approximately 250 to 300 Indian rupees per month. If you become a gold member by paying $14.99 per month, which is going to be approximately 750 to 800 Indian rupees, you will be able to access all the members only videos, plus you will be able to receive 10 sets of test materials for IELTS, OET and PTE exams. If you would like to become a platinum member, you can do so, for which you will be able to get the free assessment for 2 speaking and writing mock tests, and then there is an assistance with the 2 full reading and listening tests. You are going to be charged at $79.99 per month, which is going to be approximately 4,000 to 4,100 Indian rupees. To increase the chance of passing your OET, IELTS, and PT exam in one attempt itself, please contact me at steve@ucanenglishtutoring.com or +61 468 480 877, which is my mobile as well as WhatsApp number. In return, you will get the free correction of your first letter, first essay, and first speaking mock test to help you find your weak areas. In this video, I'm going to assess your speaking skills by conducting a mock test and provide you the word by word feedback along with the feedback against each criteria, and finally the expected score for your speaking mock test. May I know your full name, please?
My name is Navdeep Kaur, but you can call me Navdeep.
Can I see your ID?
Yeah, sure. Here it is.
Where are you from?
I am basically from Amritsar. It's a small city situated in northern part of India. Amritsar is famous for its historical background, for its scenic beauty, for its food, and for its various sources of entertainment.
Do you work or study?
I work as a teaching assistant in one of the schools in New South Wales. As part of my role, I'm responsible for teaching numeracy and literacy to students with special needs. I also assist class teacher in preparation of resources and study materials.
Do you like your job? Why?
Absolutely, yes, I love my job. So the reason being I was actually teacher overseas. So my dream was to pursue same career here when I moved to Australia. But for that, I need to do some study to get my teaching registration and for getting the teaching approval. So in the meantime, this was the next best alternative available to me. So this is the job that is actually keeping me in touch with the school systems here in Australia. So I am absolutely loving what I'm doing.
Do you like sport?
I would say not really. I'm not into sports as a profession, but as a part of doing physical activity or as an exercise. I go to gym. I do running in the park, but I do not pursue any particular sport as a hobby or as a profession.
Let's talk about culture. What are the main cultural standards in your home country?
Talking about the culture in India, India is a multicultural country wherein you can experience different culture when you move across different states. There are nearly 28 states in India, and every state has its own culture. So it's very diverse and very different. in cultures. So, and I am part of Punjab. I'm from Punjab, and in Punjab, uh, we have Punjabi culture. We have cultural festivals. We do have cultural dances like Gidda and Bhangra, and we do have our cultural food. So Punjab is famous for its food, for its dances, and for its
Okay.
various.
What are the differences in young and old people's attitude towards life?
I believe young attitude and old perspective, they are entirely different when we are talking about life. Young minds are more, I would say, adventurous. They are free from all sort of stresses and just go by the flow, whereas if we talk about the older people, they have more practical approach to life. They have better experience in dealing with everyday problems, so they know better which way to adopt and which way is not good.
Okay. Now, I'd like to ask you to speak about a topic for 1 to 2 minutes.
Mhm.
You will have 1 minute to make notes, and then you will have 1 to 2 minutes to talk about the topic.
Okay.
I'm sharing with you the topic on your mobile number, so it should be through SMS, and
Okay.
then I'll give you 1 minute to prepare notes.
Okay.
I wish you to talk about a concert or an event that you disliked, but you had to stay until the end.
Okay.
Please say what and where was it? Why did you have to stay? How did you feel about it later? Your 1 minute time starts now. Your 1 minute time is over now. You can start talking about the topic. Thank you.
Okay, I didn't attended quite many live musics or music sessions, but I would like to talk about one of the live music session that I attended when I was studying at university. So in the university, we had to choose one interdisciplinary course which was apart from which was totally different from what we have chosen as a main field of study. So my subject was music, and as a part of that class we usually had to attend certain concerts and certain live music sessions. So in our interdisciplinary course, I we were to attend a live music session which was in wherein many musicians from different states were performing, and we had to attend that live music session. It was not optional, but it was compulsory to attend for us to achieve the required grades in our final assessment. So it was in end of our last semester, and the music was live music session was organized in the university auditorium all of us gathered there. We were a bit excited as we were going to experience this for the first time. It was the first one since we joined this class. So we gathered there, everyone was excited. I went there along with many of my other friends. So it was around a 2 hour long session. And once it began, I quite didn't like it from the beginning. And within another 30 minutes, I lost my entire interest in the event for the only reason that the singers and the type of music that was being played there was not something that I like. It was classical music. I'm not quite big fan of classical music, so I entirely lost interest in the event, and I was feeling quite boring by mid of the session. But I had no other option but to stay there until end, because it was mandatory for us to attend it from the beginning till the end, because in the end the singers and the musicians presents their
Your two
different
minute is over
experiences.
now. I would like to ask you a few more questions regarding the musical events and people. What do
Mhm.
you think would be the difference between a speaker and a listener?
Speaker and what did you say, listener?
And a listener, yep.
Okay, so speaker and listener, I believe they are two extremes of two extremes of a conversation. So if a conversation completes when the speaker and listener are engaged at the same time. So the speaker is one who is actually conveying a message, actively engaged, and is paying all his ear to what speaker is saying. So speaker and listener, they are both different aspects of the conversation when combines and completes the entire conversation.
How can a speaker attract his or her listeners?
I believe there could be different ways for a speaker to attract his or her audience. One way could be um, one way could be if the speaker is very clear with his or her language and is very clear with what he is going to speak. Secondly, I would say conveying the message with proper gestures and proper expression. That is the another way to get the attention of listener. Last but not the least, I would say if speaker has complete and clear and thorough understanding of what he or she is conveying, this listener has more tendency to get in what he or she is listening.
Or how can a speaker gauge their listeners' reactions?
I didn't get your question, Steve. Can you please rephrase it?
Well, how do you think a speaker can understand what the listeners are reacting about the speaker's speech? How do they measure, the listener's reaction, whether the listener is interested in the speaker's speech or not? How do you think the speakers can identify this?
See, as the speaker can engage listeners in different ways, similarly, he can get to know about the feedback from the listeners in many different forms. The first way could be expressions of the listeners. He can, the speaker can actually get to know just by looking at the face of the listener is trying to. Secondly, I would say can take occasional pauses, and then can ask the listener about certain details about the topic he is talking about. That way, he can get to know if the listener is actually actively engaged in the conversation or not.
That's the end of the speaking mock test. You can now leave the examination out. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Navdeep, let me give you the feedback, for your speaking mock test now, and then I'll give you the expected score under each parameter, okay? The first thing is,
Okay.
you have mispronounced this word. You, instead of saying northern, you have said northern or something else, so it was mispronounced, unfortunately.
Okay.
You could have pronounced it properly. And then the second thing is, you have said for its scenic nature or scenic beauty, and then you said for its cultures, for its something else, these things could have been avoided. You can simply say for its, and then you list out everything, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Do you understand what I mean? So you can simply say, well, my hometown is famous for its scenic beauty, cultures, traditions, education, and religious activities. That's fine. That is absolutely fine. You don't need to say for its scenic, for its culture, for its beauty, for its these things. No, that's not needed. Okay. And then the next one is, you said the reasons being I was, and then you started saying something. I mean, your answer for the reasons why you like the job were irrelevant to some extent in the beginning. Okay, so the answer to the question asking for the reasons why you like your job, okay, was irrelevant to some extent. Okay, in the beginning, but you have given the answers later on, but in the beginning it was not correct. Okay, and you said not really, isn't it? That's not good, because that's grammatically incomplete, isn't it? So that's not correct. You should say, when I asked you the question, do you like sports, you should say, well, to be honest, I don't really like sports at all, or I don't really like sports much. So that is good. So don't say, well, I think not really. So don't say this, because this is an incomplete sentence, isn't it? You can't provide any incomplete or incorrect sentences when you have to speak. All right, because they are going to check this against the grammar component. Okay, the next thing is, you have said different culture. When I asked you about cultures in your home country, you said different culture, but that's wrong. It should be different cultures. And the other issue is that you have kept on repeating the phrase cultures again and again. Instead of that, you could have used synonyms. Okay, please use synonyms instead of repeating this. For example, you could have used traditions, customary values, customs, all right, customs, long held beliefs, spirituals. So those kinds of words could have been used, isn't it? Under the vocabulary, you may not be able to score really well, particularly for this question. It's not good. Okay. All right, let's go through the next one. So you said, I am part of Punjab, and then you said, I am from Punjab. You said these two things together, but they do not make sense, right? Isn't it? Because you told the same thing again and again. So repeated the same information, which is not needed. I don't take it as a mistake, but it could have been much better. That's what I think. And then you said young attitude, isn't it? That's what you said, young attitude in the beginning. That's wrong. You should say youngsters attitude. Okay, and the next one is you have committed some false starts, throughout the role play conversation. She said young minds are, that's false starts. False starts need to be avoided or rectified or reduced to some extent. At least to some extent you should have avoided them or rectified them, please. Okay, the next one is you said I didn't attended. So that should be I didn't attend. Am I right?
Attend.
Yes, but you have said I didn't attended. That's wrong. And the next one is one of the live music session. That's wrong. It's one of the live music sessions, isn't it? One of the always needs a plural noun after them. There are other phrases as well which need a plural noun after them. So those are one among the, one amongst the. Do you know what I mean? Those phrases need a plural noun after them. So it should be one of the music sessions. Okay. Sorry, music sessions. Okay. Right. The next one is you have repeatedly used so. Sorry, repeatedly used this phrase, and sometime it wasn't correct. Okay. Sometimes it wasn't correct.
Okay.
Right. I mean, according to the situation, it wasn't correct. I mean, it was not needed. That's what I would like to say. And then the other one is which was apart from, and then you said which was entirely different from. These two things went together, but they are not correct. Do you know what I mean? You could have used either. Use either, but not together.
Oh.
Sorry. You can't use these two things together. That's wrong. That is absolutely wrong. And then you said we were to attend. So you said I, and then we were to attend the session. And that's wrong, because you can't use I and we together. So you should use either I or we. Okay. Do not use both of them together. That's wrong. Okay, the subject must be the correct one. Okay, let's go to the next one. Passes were committed between two words as well in many occasions. Within sentences frequently. So you have frequently committed this mistake by giving pauses between two words unnecessarily. And the other issue is long sentences were used without good control. Okay, that's not good. That's another issue. Okay. And you said two extremes twice, isn't it? You said, I think the question was speaker and listener. Okay, what is the difference between the speaker and the listener? You said there are the two extremes of something. So this is what we call the false starts. Okay, so you shouldn't commit these kinds of mistakes. False starts need to be avoided. Let's go to the next one. So you said attract. It's not attract, but it's attract. So this one was mispronounced. When you listen to the audio, you should be able to find out what I mean. Okay. And you said one way could be. So you said one way. I think I asked you how a speaker can attract, this listener. So you said one way could be, and that's not correct. Okay. Again, this one is a false start. Okay. It's please try not to commit any false starts. Okay. Got it? That's not good. All right. Next one is I think, yeah, these are the issues. Okay. All right. Let me go to the assessment against each parameter. Grammar could have been much better with the use of, your range of sentence structures, but without any grammatical mistakes. Okay. You have committed a lot of grammatical mistakes, which could have been avoided. All right. Including the false starts. That's not good. Okay, pronunciation could have been much better, of course, because you have given unnecessary pauses in between two words itself. That's one issue. And then the false starts, that's another issue. And you have mispronounced at least a few words like attract, and then there is another one, northern, and so on. So those things could have been much better as well. Connectivity is an area of improvement as well. I would say connectivity is the one that you have to give more attention in this role, in this speaking mock test. Okay, vocabulary could have been better with the use of more synonyms, because you have committed the mistakes by speaking about the same things again and again using the same phrases. For example, cultures. You kept on using the phrase cultures, which is not good. Okay, what would be the expected score for this speaking? I would say you have committed a lot of mistakes in this case. It's about 20. And I believe this one can get you perhaps 7 bands. Definitely, I wouldn't be able to give you 8 bands for this one. Unfortunately, I'm sorry about that. But these are the mistakes you have to be able to understand and overcome. So if you can overcome these mistakes, you should be able to get 8 bands easily. I hope you have enjoyed the assessment of this speaking, and I understand that it may be helpful to you.
Yeah, absolutely.